2.5 years, and then I've been doing stand-up for a lot longer, so I train out of Tracy's Campo as well. I've been there for probably 11 years. So,
where's the stand-up where you're training?
Tracy's Campo. I train at the one out on Dorset Road.
Okay, so Tracy's.
So,
Is that Bill still up?
yeah, Bill Boyd runs it, and I train under Brad Zimmerman.
Yeah, I know Brad. I actually went to school with Brad.
Yeah, so it's great to, I think I finally get to the point where I'm comfortable staying on the ground to work that game versus before I always wanted to just get right out and get to my feet. So, I think any other fights would be, I think the fact that we've gotten so comfortable on the ground has opened up the stand-up even more to where I'm not worried if I overcommit or overextend, because if we go down to the ground, I know everything we worked on is fine, and I'll be comfortable there as well.
No, I think that's the evolution of the fight right now, is you see the guys who are good at stand-up, they can keep it stand-up as long as they can, and it's to their advantage. But when it goes on the ground, you've got the ground skills on top of it. It's like, oh, that didn't help.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's so much cross-training going on now, too. I mean, we were talking about that last week, that it seems like you're seeing a lot of striking coming back on the pro level because people were afraid to kick for a little while because they're all getting taken down. But, I mean, your school, everything I've heard about it and the fighters I've seen, it's very well respected in this area. There's
It's
no
all
doubt about
rumors
that.
and propaganda, really.
But it worked.
But it worked. We're doing good things out there. Like you said, though, if you look at the top MMA fighters out there right now, they're really all Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, and they're training at the best stand-up camps in the world. So these guys are not only athletes. We're getting the professional athletes, not the football players, the NBA players. These guys can make a living doing MMA. So it's a huge difference. Now we can afford to be fighters versus bartender and then fighter. It's a new age for people now.
Yeah, it's really changed the game, having people getting sponsored and training full time. Now, how about you, Rob? Tell us, how'd you get into fighting, and did you start last year in your amateur career?
No, I started with Jay in September of 06. I guess that's when I started training with him. My first fight was June of 07, actually.
So you're big on throwing them right in.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we differ a little bit from the things. There's no rush. I like my guys to be prepared.
Pay your dues.
Right. It's one of those things where the bad of MMA is the amateurs don't have to be trained well.
Right.
So I don't let the guys fight unless I know that they can go in there and have a chance to win. So.
You can tell Bob was a superstar right away, though. So he was worried.
He waved it.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing.
But before then, I wrestled a lot as a kid, and then a couple years in high school and whatnot. So coming in, I was always in decent shape. And,
So you had the wrestling background?
Yeah, I had the wrestling background.
Helps a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it was easy to take that grappling transition and start with the jiu-jitsu. And
Now, did you, Derek? Did you have any wrestling background?
I had a short stint professionally, but we had creative differences. I never wrestled.
He didn't like the mask he put on, so he.
Had to get off the juice to get down from 320.
Right.
I got you.
I often talk about this. I feel that the wrestlers, at least initially, bring a different energy. The fight starts hard when you've got a guy who's got a wrestling background. A lot of energy, a lot of quick movement, where the guy who's brought up in jiu-jitsu slows things down.
Right. It depends on the fighter.
It
always.
does. Absolutely.
If you look at, I'm trying to think of the guy in the UFC right now who's killing everybody by submissions. Damian Maia. If you look at his style of jiu-jitsu, it's very aggressive. But
jerky, yeah.
you only timing means everything. So if you can react to the situation with great technique and timing, then you can be aggressive with it. Until you become even a good pro. I mean, that's why you even see in the UFC, you'll hear Joe Rogan, he never shuts up, but he'll say a purple belt jiu-jitsu or a brown belt jiu-jitsu. There's wide ranges of even ability in the UFC that the guys aren't world championship level jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Damian Maia is world champion level jiu-jitsu, so he can be aggressive with it. But I think you're right from a beginning standpoint. If you take a guy that's wrestled all through high school, from a kid to being a high school or collegiate wrestler, jiu-jitsu's only been in the States since the early 90s. So even if he, now our there's a big gap still there. So I think that's why the aggressiveness of the wrestler, I think on the get-go, has a huge advantage. It's like saying the kickboxer. I think a kickboxer has a huge advantage. You're getting used to getting punched in the face.
Yeah, you got to get through that range.
Especially,
used to that.
well, especially on the amateur level, I believe, with the wrestlers for sure, because you can't throw the knees to the head usually in most of the sanctioning bodies, and it makes a big difference. These guys are just getting under the punches and shooting and taking a leg and
Huge. And you know what? If they're fighting a mediocre guy with not good ground skills, wrestling is American's grappling art. That's our jiu-jitsu. Brazilians, Japanese. We grew up doing wrestling. I didn't, but jiu-jitsu's my sport. But the wrestlers have a huge advantage, I think, off the get-go.
JW, how'd you get introduced to jiu-jitsu?
Oh, like everybody. 93, Boyce Gracie. I was a Kempo stylist. I've trained probably 10 or 15 different martial arts. Just loved. There's few people that say, like Jay, he's a true martial artist. We take whatever we can learn from whoever to teach us. Was doing karate at the time. Got a chance to go 1995 training with Boyce Gracie at one of those seminars that had 200 people.
I was there.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah. And made a lasting impression on me as a young kid that this skinny Brazilian guy could choke out these big monsters. Obviously, I'm not an intimidating individual. I'm a little guy, 155 pounds. So I really like the concept of using that technique to win a fight or an altercation. So that's how it started. And then luckily, in '99, I met Oyler Gracie. And just over time, Oyler took me underneath his wing, and I was lucky enough to go to Brazil. I go to New York and California every year to train with them, and he comes here around twice a year. So I'm very blessed to have Gracie family as friends now.
Tell us. I was going to say, tell us a little bit about Grappling Concepts. You're over in St. Peter's?
Yep, over in St. Peter's, Mexico, Spencer, probably a half a mile behind Mid-River Mall. Our schools get a very special vibe. I think that's the thing that differs every academy is what kind of vibe does that academy put on? Is it one of those just tough, we're gonna clash all the time and really beat each other up? I always look at there's two ways to build a champion. You put all the toughest guys in one room and they all beat each other up until there's one left, or everybody works together to raise everyone else's up. That's where they all have champion, aspirations and ability. So with that, we've built a real strong family. We've got a lot of good guys, and since we've trained a long time, in St. Louis, you always know the guys who've trained a long time. It takes a long time to get that knowledge and depth spread out to people. So now we're really seeing that the depth of our school is growing in major ways. But we're no longer looking at Grappling Concepts being a good school in St. Charles or St. Louis. My goal is to have the best jiu-jitsu academy in the world. I have the most highly decorated jiu-jitsu instructor in the world as my teacher, so I don't think little anymore. It's one of those things where we're at a level now to where we should compete in the Pan Ams, the World Championship. My guys have medaled in every big tournament we've ever went to. So, Grappling Concepts is a family of like-minded individuals who want to raise everybody's potential to their highest level. And I feel that if a person's goal is to be more confident when they walk down the street, that's what I want to help them do. If he wants to be a world champion in MMA, that's what I want to help him do. I do it with honesty, though. If these guys come up to me and say, I want to be the next UFC champion, and I go, well, your weight class is BJ Penn. Or, those are the guys. Be realistic in your goals, and I can help you reach them. We've got a great academy. I've luckily this year just started teaching full-time. So I've luckily, jiu-jitsu is now my job. You never have a bad day at work, and you love what you do. So I come to the academy every morning, smile, teach private lessons all day, and I teach all night. So, yeah. Life is good.
I like what you put in the email, that your goal is to show that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is for everyone.
Right.
And you have students ranging from ages 5 to 75.
Yeah, you always have to look at people